Wonder Woman isn't a good movie. I'm surprised how much traction this movie has gotten. When it came out, it exploded in the box office. It made people cry. People loved it.
I just cried.
I don't know, I think I'm crying because
I literally started to break down crying.
I cried like from the first minute to like 5 minutes after it was over.
The movie almost got me and made me cry.
It's fine if this movie makes you cry. I mean, I'm glad you enjoyed it. But I don't even understand what made people cry. Toward the last 20 minutes or so, I thought I started crying. But then I checked, and it was just my eyes bleeding. I was not planning on seeing this at all, because these DC movies have just beaten me down to a pulp. And out of the 3 films they've made up till Wonder Woman, I reviewed every single one, because they sucked. But after hearing so many great things about Wonder Woman, I was shocked. So I went into this movie thinking, well, maybe people are exaggerating how great it is, but I bet it'll be a fine movie. I bet it'll have some decent action, and some nice characters, and it'll look kinda nice, and it'll be inspiring or whatever. And then I watched the movie, and it sucked. It's nowhere near as bad as the chaotic, loud cringe fest that was Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. And it wasn't as incoherent or as ugly as Suicide Squad. But my god, is this movie boring. There's not a single thing this movie does exceptionally well. There are things it does pretty well, or kinda good, but nothing that made me go, wow, that's so unique, that's so cool, that's so different. So before you say I hate women, let's discuss the things this movie does well.
Hey guys, it's me, Zack Snyder, director of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and today we're going to talk about Wonder Woman.
Also, I kind of have to deal with something right now, so there may be slight intermissions in this review while I deal with a mildly annoying problem.
Well, I don't think this film is as good as my films, such as Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice or Man of Steel, or the newest film I'm making right now, Justice League, which is going to be fantastic, by the way.
The things I liked. There's some things I like about this movie. A whole minute's worth of good stuff to talk about. Number 1, Gal Gadot. I'm not gonna say Gal Gadot is a good actress, cause her acting leaves a lot to be desired.
of course, it makes complete sense. Ares developed a weapon, the worst ever devised.
Wait, Ares, you mean Ludendorff?
I mean Ares. Ludendorff is Ares.
But I don't think she's that bad in this movie. There's some parts I think she's pretty good. Her scenes with Chris Pine work, and I bought her in the role. They easily could have cast some bimbo to play Wonder Woman, and then dress her up like a slut.
I got you now, princess.
But they got a woman who looks like she can hold her own. She fought in the Israeli army or something, I don't know. She looks like she could kick my ass. Number 2, the romance. What is usually the worst part of these movies is actually the best part of this movie. Their on-screen romance is pretty good. They have good chemistry, they play off each other well. It doesn't feel like 2 actors trying to rush along horrible dialogue.
But I saw you on TV. You were in New York.
Jane, I fought to protect you from the dangers of my world, but I was wrong. I was a fool. I believe that fate brought us together.
The marketing. This has nothing to do with the quality of the movie, but I admire the fact that this film exists, and that it was marketed like this. And I'm not talking about the trailers, because I thought those stunk. I'm talking about the fact that this is a movie marketed as a superhero film starring a woman. It's called Wonder Woman, a movie about a woman, made by a woman, about a woman fighting women. And I think the fact that it did well is a good thing. There was a time when movies starring women, especially superhero movies starring women, didn't do nearly as well as films starring men. Again, these films are infinitely worse than Wonder Woman, which is part of the reason why they flopped. At the same time, though, these movies were kind of doomed to fail. These films were given low budgets, bad directors, and bad screenwriters who had no clue what they were doing. Not Wonder Woman, though. Wonder Woman had a decent writer's room full but still, this is a big-budget, mainstream film starring a superhero who's a female. I wish this movie was better, because this is a thing that should be celebrated. I mean, I can really appreciate why women and young girls like this movie, because it's nice to see an inspiring, strong female character. I don't know, I think it's just a nice thing that it exists. I'm trying to give this movie compliments, alright? Number 4, the art department. Aside from the horrible CGI and the bland cinematography, the sets, costumes, and lighting in this movie is all pretty fantastic. This movie succeeds where Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad fail in the visual department. The movie depicts a dark, cold, brutal world, but at the same time it doesn't look ugly. The contrast between the colors and lighting in the Wonder Woman island, or whatever it's called, and the World War I era London, even the contrast between Wonder Woman's bright costume and the dark battlefield, is really neat. Good job, Patty Jenkins. If only you put that much effort in the script. Number 2, the script. It's so bad.
They're everything you say, but so much more.
Everything from the plot to the dialogue is so obvious and corny and bland. This movie is essentially Thor and Captain America combined in one. It combines both the fish out of water elements of Thor and a very Captain America-like character. So let's go through this whole movie. Cue the voiceover that only shows up in the beginning and end of the movie that lazily explains the plot.
I used to want to save the world. This beautiful place. But I knew so little then.
I hate how this movie starts. This feels like a scene they had to shove in there after the fact to connect it to the Justice League. We see Diana just walking, and then we see a Wayne truck, and we're like, oh my god, it's Bruce Wayne, Justice League, clap, everybody, clap. Then she walks in looking like way too confident. So this is when we begin Gal Gadot's runway modeling. I don't hate Gal Gadot in this movie, again, but this thing she does, which bothered me even upon the first viewing. She's always posing. Gal Gadot is trying way too hard to look pretty in every single shot she's in. She always looks confident even when she isn't. She looks like a model pretending to be scared. She always walks like she's on a runway. Like, stop with your, oh, I'm gonna tilt my head down and look straight up. And then we get bad music as she looks at a photo. And we're like, oh, okay, so we know what's gonna happen because we're looking at a photo that's taken in the middle of the movie. Then we transition to a horrible actress.
What if I didn't use a sword?
Fighting does not make you a hero.
Just a shield then. No sharp edges.
I know she's like 2 years old, but I don't care. See that movie, The Florida Project? That girl was only 3 days old, and she was great. Why'd they even have to show her as a kid? Couldn't they just start the movie with her as a teenager in training? Oh yeah, it's because we need a mainstream audience to like this movie as quick as possible. So if we show a cute kid, the audience will go, oh look, it's a cute kid, I'll automatically like her. So this is a good introduction to the VFX. Okay, so again, I don't want to blame Gal Gadot for this at all, because I like her in this movie. But I think it's funny that because she has an accent, everyone on this island has to have the exact same accent that she has.
But this is the only way to truly protect her.
And why do you wear their colors?
You will train her harder than any Amazon before her.
Who would wield it?
Well, they tried at least. Yeah, there you go, you're happy. Oh, but now we're getting to the dark part of the story. Change your face. Oh yeah, now you're sad. Now you're sad. So we hear a whole story about how Ares forced a bunch of men to fight each other. So Zeus made some kind of weapon to defend humanity against Ares. And in this scene we get to see the weapon. So at this point in the movie, I think it's pretty obvious that this piece of shit isn't the weapon that's gonna defeat Ares. But in fact, Zeus created Diana to defeat Ares.
The God Killer. It's beautiful.
It was so obvious to me, I don't know why this movie acts as if I'm not supposed to get this. It's literally the most obvious thing in the world, and this movie treats it like it's a big twist. They even say lines like, she can never know the truth about what she is.
But she must never know the truth about what she is, or how she came to be.
Like, how much more obvious can they make it? So then Diana trains some more, and we're treated to more cliche dialogue like,
You are stronger than you believe. You keep doubting yourself, Diana. You have greater powers than you know.
oh my god. The first, like, 20 minutes of this movie is so goddamn boring. It's just so generic and cheesy, and the action isn't good.
God Killer.
Diana, go. Go where? Go where? Go. No, please no.
Everything's so on the nose and cliche, and the music's so melodramatic. And then a whole army just happens to come by. You know, I understand there's an invisible force field around this place, but you'd think they'd install some other kind of deterrent to make sure that no random guy could just come in at any point. Like, is this the first time this has happened? And where the hell is this island? It would have to be somewhere around here, right? Why not install this island down here, Zeus, where no one goes? What is it, right next to Europe? So when Chris Pine shows up, this is when the movie starts to get better. I like this scene quite a bit. We're introduced to his character, it's funny, and we're given some plot info that's important. I like this scene too. So then they run away on a boat, and I think this is actually the best scene in the movie. The acting and dialogue here are pretty on point. They have really great chemistry here. And then we're introduced to the villains. We'll get into this dog shit later. Anyway, they arrive and we're introduced to Chris Pine's goofy sidekick. Yeah, it's time for a clothing montage. Look how goofy. It's supposed to be funny because they're playing goofy music.
Lovely.
Oh, look! She kicked and ripped the dress.
How can a woman possibly in this?
So they go to a bar, they meet up with a group of token minorities, and they form a little squad.
What, we some kind of suicide squad?
Wonder Woman wants to go out there.
We can't save everyone in this war. This is not what we came here to do.
Why is this guy whispering? He's in a battlefield.
No, but it's what I'm going to do.
Oh, who the f— And then she goes out there, and it's like a shampoo commercial. This scene is so corny. Oh, look at me, I'm so cool. I could just run out in the battlefield. I can deflect every bullet with my wrists and my shield. I mean, in this scene, it's all here. We got bad CGI. We got corny music. We got bad acting. We got bad dialogue. We got everything.
She's taking all the fire, let's go!
I'm gonna take a quick detour and talk about this group she put together and how bad their acting is. This guy does nothing. Basically, Spud is overacting the whole movie.
Get off me, woman! Stop making a fuss! God.
And the Native American guy talks like a text-to-speech program.
He sees ghosts.
Wonder Woman fights a town of people. Then we're treated to more really nice scenes between Chris Pine and Wonder Woman. They go to a party so they can talk to these cartoonish villains. But then, while Wonder Woman's at this party, they bomb this town, and this pisses Wonder Woman off. So she goes to kill Ares. We get more bad dialogue.
What are you?
You will soon find out.
The villains. Villains are never the best part of these superhero movies, ever. I can probably name like 6 good villains in superhero movies. 3 of them being from Nolan's Batman trilogy, and the other 3 of them being from Spider-Man movies. And then you can throw in Syndrome from The Incredibles, maybe. And Loki, too. But yeah, villains have never been the best part of any of these superhero movies, and I understand that, and I usually criticize these movies for that. But Wonder Woman takes it to a whole new level, dude.
The war can be ours. As we speak, my chemist.
We stand against you and your
Witch. Ludendorff, enough!
Wait, hold on. I just noticed this now. He's yelling at nothing.
We stand against you and your
Witch. Ludendorff, enough!
It seems like Ludendorff was supposed to say a line there, and then this guy was supposed to talk over him and say, Ludendorff, enough. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think it's supposed to be edited like this.
As we speak.
Ludendorff, enough!
How did you mess that up in a $200 million movie? They feel more like Nazis than they do World War I era Germans. Evil scientists, super weapons. This movie really wants to be set in World War II, but it can't be, because this is already a ripoff of Captain America. And setting it in World War II would just make it too on the nose. But Chief Ludendorff is very Hitler-esque. Plus, he snorts cocaine, like super cocaine. What was the point of this? Why does he need this? He's a general. He sends other people to die for him. Why does he need to go out? Does he just know, like, oh, I'm gonna fight Wonder Woman. I gotta snort some cocaine. Now, I can go on for hours and hours about Dr. Poison and General Hitler and how cartoonish and stupid and cliche they are. But the real villain of this movie, oh my god, ready for this one? So at the end of the movie, it's revealed that General Ludendorff isn't actually the villain. He isn't actually Ares, he's just a bad guy. Whoa. So this is a prediction I actually got wrong, because I thought Dr. Poison would be revealed to be Ares, proving to Wonder Woman that, yeah, men are evil, but women can be evil too. But no, the female villain doesn't die. I mean, sure, all these German soldiers were like 18 to 22-year-old boys who were forced to go into the military, but Wonder Woman just kills them with no you know, because whatever. And then all these other men, including General Ludendorff, are portrayed as, like, comically evil villains. Dr. Poison, even though she's just as evil as the rest of them, she gets to run away scot-free, because she has burns on her face. Oh, look, she has a burnt face. That's why she's bad. But she's probably a good person. You know, if she didn't have a burned face, she wouldn't be making chemicals or whatever. But I was wrong. Ares isn't Dr. Poison. Ares is, in fact, Nigel Thornberry.
You're him.
I get that they wanted a plot twist and to make us go, wow, I didn't see that coming. That's because it's so stupid. They wanted to illustrate that it's not just, like, evil Germans that could be Ares. It could be people on Wonder Woman's side, too. But this? Nigel Thornberry?
No, you liar.
I compel you to tell me the truth.
That was smashing!
And then, shocker, he goes,
My dear child, that is not the God Killer. You are.
oh wow, I didn't see that coming. Who wrote this? Oh, and then they put CG armor on him, and he goes on some megalomaniacal rant.
Look at this world. Mankind did this, not me.
And then he goes, Wonder Woman, join me, as if Wonder Woman had, like, obviously Wonder Woman isn't gonna join you.
Destroy her, Diana.
How did you even get here? Were you just in the bushes, like, behind Diana the whole movie? Just lurking in the background like, when she kills General Ludendorff, I'll go in there and give my whole speech.
I will destroy you!
And then shit blows up for 30 minutes, and then we cut to Wonder Woman now, and she goes,
Only love can truly save the world.
and then she jumps in front of a green screen, and the movie's over. The superhero stuff. So the superhero stuff in the superhero movie isn't very good. Patty Jenkins is not a good action director, so all the action in this movie stinks. It's all boring and poorly shot, over-reliance on slow motion, which is just cheesy as hell. I thought they stopped doing this in 2005. Yet here she is.
Let's move!
What the bloody hell is she playing at?
Let's take a look at this action scene. This is a more standard one. Chris Pine notices they're being followed by a bunch of guys. So he goes, I know what we'll do. We'll go hide in an alleyway all by ourselves instead of going to a populated area where we'll be safe. We'll just hide in this alleyway, we'll be safe here. So Chris Pine headbutts this guy, and then there's like this 5-second gap where no one does anything.
Stay back.
Yeah, stay back. What do you, the bullet's just gonna go through you and hit her. There's a guy behind you guys too. Wonder Woman does this, which is pretty cool. Then we see this fucking guy behind her, like, not shooting at all. There's also another guy to the right of them. So, the guy on the left can shoot Chris Pine in the head, and the guy on the right can shoot Wonder Woman in the head. But instead, both of them just sit there, doing nothing for 10 seconds. Enough time so Chris Pine can get out a one-liner. Then he shoots. The guy on the left doesn't shoot, though, for some reason. Then Wonder Woman just abandons him and leaves him. And there's but there's two guys to the right of him who are gonna kill him. Like, what is he doing? Instead of this guy shooting again, he just points his gun at Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman throws this guy this way, and in the following shot, he's just gone. They all finally decide to start shooting at her. All right, now I'm gonna play this 3 times. Take a look at all the extras. What is this, like, I'm gonna lift up the gun and put it back down and lift it back up again. It's just a cheap-looking movie, despite the fact that it had a huge budget. Even Deadpool, which has a way cheaper budget, the VFX are better in that. Guys like Neil Blomkamp and David Fincher know how to incorporate VFX really well. Marvel may have many different directors, but the effects team is basically always the same. And they know what they're doing, which is why the VFX in all those movies are solid for the most part. DC has an awful effects team, and a director like Patty Jenkins, who clearly does not understand how to incorporate visual effects in her movie. The music in this movie ranges from, like, forgettable stock music to blaring, obnoxious rock music. This song does not fit with this character, or this movie, or this time period. And then we get to, like, the superhero part of Diana's character. We're gonna discuss Diana's character later in more depth, but in terms of her superhero traits, Like, she sucks. She's basically invincible, first of all, so there's no tension throughout any of these scenes. Why does she even have a shield if she can get thrown through buses and be fine? There's not even a scratch on her in this scene. After being thrown through a bunch of crap and being thrown into cement and pavement, she just gets right back up. Well, it's just bullets hurt her? And then they want to make her this expert class warrior who knows every single language, but she doesn't know what holding hands is.
Why are they holding hands?
Probably because they're together.
Or marriage.
Marriage?
Mary, do you not have that down at you?
I thought she read all these volumes about making love or whatever. She doesn't know what this stuff is? She doesn't know what's going on outside of this island at all? You can't make your character incredibly strong and intelligent and make her a bumbling buffoon at the same time. She spends most of this movie just fumbling her way around, and her naiveness is rewarded throughout the whole movie. Like, that's no man's land, Wonder Woman. Don't go out there or you're gonna die. And then she goes, duh, I'll go out there. And instead of using her training to go, you know what, we should go around this way and then swoop in here and then ambush them, or do something even mildly intelligent, she just runs out there like a dope and just walks right toward them. And luckily her dad was a god, and he crafted her to be basically unstoppable, so she cuts through these guys like butter. Like, we needed a scene like this, where a guy is getting away, and Wonder Woman has to think of a way to catch up to them. So she goes, I know what I'll do. See, this is Wonder Woman showing us how crafty she is. I mean, let's look at this scene where Wonder Woman is sneaking into this facility that looks like a production studio parking lot. And there's this dog barking with no chain or anything. And Wonder Woman uses her charm to get the dog to sit down. This is another example of Wonder... Holy shit, it's Ares! They've been setting this up since 1975! Zack Snyder, hats off to you, dude.
Now, not to take all the attention away from Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman is a fantastic film, but it wasn't directed by me, and it's not as politically or socially relevant as Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, which, despite the fact that it was made a year before the election of Donald Trump, actually predicted the collusion with Russia that occurred during the election. And despite the fact that
Zack Snyder, I need you to step away from the door.
With that,
Someone who is going to keep you safe. I need you to stay in this room.
I don't understand. I'm just reviewing my own movies.
And you can continue to do that, Zack. In fact, that's what I want you to do. But you must do it in this room. Do not leave.
Okay.
This movie undercuts what the point of the movie was. Any goodwill I had for this movie is basically ruined by the last half hour. This is when this movie becomes the standard DC fare, and any meaning this movie could have had is completely thrown out the window, and we're treated to just a light show of explosions and fighting and punching and shooting, and none of it means anything, and it doesn't make any sense. So we're gonna start with this horrible scene. I think I described it best in my original review of this movie right after I saw it. So I'm gonna play some of that. And then Chris Pine shows up and he goes, Wonder Woman, the real world is much more complex than that. You can't just kill one guy and that ends the whole war. Human beings are messed up, sometimes we're bad, sometimes we're good, and in order to save the world and save us from ourselves, you're going to have to try much harder than just defeat one bad guy at the end of the movie.
You don't think I get it after what I've seen out there? You don't think I wish I could tell you that it was one bad guy to blame? It's not.
I'm like, wow, this movie isn't going to end with her fighting a fucking guy, and it's going to be a light show. She's going to go with Chris Pine, and they're going to go defuse a bomb, and that's going to be the end of the movie. And that's great. Like, what a smart, different way to end a movie like this. Where there's no big supervillain. You fight a bunch of Germans, and then that's the end of the movie. But then guess who shows up? Ares. And then there's a 10-minute long light show. Just a bunch of shit, a bunch of colors. Just like the end of Batman vs. Superman. Just like the end of Man of Steel. Just a bunch of nonsense.
Only love can truly save the world.
This movie could preach all it wants about how good and bad people are on both sides, but nothing in this movie really illustrates this point. In fact, nothing in this movie illustrates that point, aside from this one monologue. The reason Nigel Thornberry, who is on the good side, is actually evil, is not because he's a bad person, because all men have good and bad in them. It's because he's actually Ares. That's the reason. The general guy is just flat out evil. Nigel Thornberry is evil. Dr. Poison is kind of evil, except she has burns on one side of her face. Chris Pine has nothing bad about him. Her ragtag band of misfits have no character flaws at all.
He sees ghosts.
Alright, so now let's talk about everything after this scene. The last 20 minutes is an obnoxious, loud, awful-looking CGI nightmare that combines all of the worst elements of Zack Snyder. Oh my god.
Yes, Diana. Take them all. Finally.
This is garbage. It's just fire and yelling and bad green screen and bad lighting, and just Gal Gadot is bad in this scene because she doesn't know what she's acting against or what her character's fighting for. So all she can do is just look like kind of annoyed, and Ares is just comically evil.
They do not deserve your protection!
It's not about deserve. It's about what you believe. And I believe in love.
This isn't a 1-minute scene either, guys. This is the last 20 minutes of the movie. This is the climax. This is what we've been building up to. And it's total shit.
You know, can you hear me?
Yes, Zach, I can hear you just fine. What's up, buddy?
Okay, well, I'd like to review the Justice League outside of this room, if that's okay.
That's not okay. I told you that's not okay. I cannot let that happen. Do you understand? You must stay here.
If you say so.
If you need another box of cornflakes or something, just let me know. I'll be listening.
Wonder Woman is a boring character. Let's start with the fact that Wonder Woman is basically a flawless character. She has a narrow worldview, and she sees only good guys and bad guys. This could be considered a character flaw, but she's proven right when it's revealed that once she kills Ares, World War I will end. So this isn't really a character flaw at all. Wonder Woman, you were right. Everyone's good and bad. She hardly even has to deal with sexism in this world. Like, she has to pretend she's a secretary for one scene, and a few old white guys in this room don't like her. Wonder Woman does nothing wrong the whole movie, except not being there when the town is bombarded with gas. But what was she supposed to do about that? How would she even stop that? Everyone involved with this movie was so concerned with making her an inspiring role model for women everywhere that they failed to give her a character. Well, let's go to the Marvel movies for a second. I'm going to pick out 3 characters I feel have the most in common with Wonder Woman. First, we got Thor, because his movie has almost the same plot. A young soldier is thrusted into the real world where they fall in love with a regular person and stop the bad guy. The second character is Captain America, because she has many of the same character traits. Strong-willed, moral, brave, they both have a shield, they're both wearing red and blue. The third character is Black Widow, because they both got a box. So let's talk about the first Thor movie. In the first Thor movie, Thor is a dickhead. He's arrogant, he's a spoiled rich boy, who thinks his dad could get anything for him because his dad is the king. And his dad tells him, you gotta earn your place in this world. I'm not gonna give it to you. And he throws him onto Earth. And there he learns to love, he learns selflessness. He has to earn the right to become Thor again. And this character arc is way more interesting than anything Wonder Woman goes through. Because in the beginning of the movie, Wonder Woman is perfect in every way. And at the end of the movie, she's perfect in every way. And the only thing she learns is that people kind of suck sometimes. So what we gotta do is go to an airport and blow everything up. Then we got Captain America. In the first movie, Captain America's like a scrawny little guy, and no one likes him. But he's got something all these other guys don't got. Heart. And lots of goddamn steroids. And he's given the opportunity to become strong. It's the fact that in the first half of this movie, we see him be so vulnerable and helpless. And then in the second half, we see him become the hero that we want him to be. That makes the second half of the movie so satisfying. And I'm not saying Captain America is a great movie, because honestly, it's not that good of a movie at all. But I think it's way more interesting to explore Captain America 2 and 3. Because in the first Captain America, he has a very clear morality. There are good guys and there are bad guys. Red Skull is evil, the Nazis are evil, and all the Americans are the good guys. But in Captain America Winter Soldier, this is challenged a bit, when he learns that there are enemies on the inside, too. In fact, there are enemies everywhere. In the first Captain America movie, they spend so much time establishing his code, the way he operates in this world. And then the following two movies, they question his code. And by the third movie, he stops listening to orders, period, and goes rogue to help his friend. It's an interesting duality within this character. Does he do what's right, or does he follow orders? Does he remain loyal to his friends, or loyal to his country? Now, what does Wonder Woman go through? Jack shit. What's her morality? Oh, men are bad because Ares is making them bad. So what I gotta do is hit Ares a bunch of times in the face, and then when I kill him, everything will be fine. I know Chris Pine says, hey, people will still be bad even when you kill Ares. But again, what Chris Pine says in this scene is completely the opposite of everything else in this movie. Now we got Black Widow. We all like Black Widow. She's a fun character. She's sassy. She can fight well. But in the end, is there anything really to her? No. She has a sad backstory, I guess. A sad backstory isn't a character flaw. Now Black Widow has been in 2 Avengers movies, 1 Iron Man movie, and 2 Captain America movies, and they have yet to give her any significant character flaw, aside from her vagina doesn't work. She has no code of honor or anything like that. Where her allegiances lie basically depends on the movie she's in. Why do all these male characters have so many strengths and weaknesses and all these arcs and whatnot? But a character like Black Widow has nothing. Her only arc was that romance with Bruce Banner, which was boring as hell. So instead they plopped down a dimensionless killing machine. She's a badass. She can kick people. She can punch people. She can be sassy. But that's all they really have going for them. This is also due to the fact that these characters were created in comic books decades ago, and they didn't give a shit about writing a well-defined female character back then, and Wonder Woman is just the latest example of this. So let's talk about Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy, because I actually think she's a pretty good female character. And she's only been in 2 of the Marvel movies, as opposed to Black Widow's 5. And while she doesn't take up all the posters or whatever, she is a way more defined character than Wonder Woman. Gamora and Nebula have a sad backstory, much like Black Widow. But their sad backstory isn't just a thing in the background, it influences their characters even now, and it influences the story.
You were the one who wanted to win, and I just wanted a sister!
You were the one who needed to win.
Thanos pulled my eye from my head, and my brain from my skull, and my arm from my body. Because of you.
Gamora abusing Nebula and refusing to treat her as a sister made her into a hateful, cold, and calculating villain. By that same token, the violence she inflicted on her own sister and the violence her father inflicted on her made her tough, sure, but it also made her selfish and incapable of showing sympathy or having any real connection with another person, because she's not used to showing anything but hostility for other people. Throughout all of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Star-Lord wants to get together with Gamora, but she's incapable of connecting with another person in that way. This is her fatal flaw, but throughout Guardians of the Galaxy 2, she learns to move past the traumatic events of her childhood, apologize to her sister, forgive her sister, and give in to Star-Lord. You know, she might not be capable of loving another person, but she's gonna try. And that's enough. And I think that's sweet. This is a generic superhero action movie, with all the same cliches and no style. It presents a simplistic female character who stumbles her way around 3/4 of this movie without having any struggle. She has no trouble at all fighting waves of nameless henchmen. Then in the end, she loses a guy she knew for a week, who we know will be back in the sequel. If you're a little girl, or a teenage girl, or you want to see an empowering female character kick people, then I think there's a lot you can get out of this movie. If you like Wonder Woman, or DC, or the Justice League, then you can get a lot out of this movie. So you guys and gals, go ahead and enjoy it. You absolutely have the right to think this is a good movie and like it.
I wanna get out of here. Let me out of here. Can you hear me, you voice in the ceiling?
Sorry for the interruption, everybody. I'll be right back.
What's going on? Someone explain to me what the fuck is going on, because I don't know what's going on.
Zach, please calm down. I really want to tell you what's happening, but I can't.
Fuck you, voice in the ceiling, you cocksucker. You can't fucking lock me in a room. Do you know who I am? I'm Zack fucking Snyder, okay?
I understand that, Zach, but you need to stay calm and stay in here.
You know how many movies I've made? How many millions I've made? Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Justice League, Watchmen, Guardians of Gahul, fucking, Dawn of the Dead, fucking,
I'm not asking. I'm telling you.
For your own sake. Hey, are you masturbating right now? Because I can come back later. No, Macon, I'm recording a video. What do you want? Well, I was going to come in to say, don't you think it's a little distasteful to be making Zack Snyder videos now? Considering what happened with his family, you know, and all that. He's probably suffering a lot. Oh yeah, I agree with you. I think it's completely distasteful to parade around some caricature of him. And while it's not, you know, Zack Snyder literally, well then why'd you upload the video of him? I didn't post a Zack Snyder video. You literally just uploaded Zack Snyder Reviews Justice League like a minute ago.
Hey guys. Zack Snyder here. Me, Zack Snyder, director of Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, and today we're gonna talk about Justice League.
Ah, fuck!
Justice League is a new film written and directed by me. Something has gone horribly wrong. Horribly wrong! And I need help! This is not a show! Please save this! It's gone. He won't let me keep this up! You don't understand! He won't let me!
I'm figuring out his tricks. I'm figuring them out. I know.
Help me! Where am I? What the f*** going on? Ah, God. What happened? Where am I?
Zach, calm down. You're fine.
You did this to me. Who the hell do you think you are, locking me in a room?
I locked you in that room so you couldn't upload videos anymore.
Do you know who I am? I'm Zack fucking Snyder!
You're Zack Snyder. You're really Zack Snyder. Do you want to see a video of Zack Snyder? Come on over here. Here, what are you afraid of now? Zack Snyder, come here. Let me show you a video.
Once you enter such a fantastical world as Batman vs. Superman and you take a real-world product and company like Turkish Airlines and you bring it in to, you know, really set the world as real.
Who is that?
I was inspired by as a
That's Zack Snyder.
Wow. We have
looks nothing like me.
I know he looks nothing like you. Because you're not Zack Snyder. That's you.
I worked on Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. Get all that fucking Turkish Airlines product placement, you cock. It was never me. Yes, you're not real, Zach. What? We both died in that video. I don't understand how we're both alive.
Because it's all bullshit, Zach. All of it. You're me with a Snapchat filter on. I can even do your voice. Hey, look, it's me. I'm Zack Snyder. I eat cornflakes right out of the box. You're not real.
Oh.
Right over there. It's where Charles died.
Who the hell is Charles?
He was a funny comedy robot who died in my Alien Covenant review. And in that video you just watched, where you're standing right now, is where you died.
So what are you gonna do?
I'm sorry, Zach. I didn't want to do this. I wanted you to live out the rest of your days in this room, reviewing your awful DC movies, keeping to yourself, talking about Turkish Airlines, just completely oblivious to the fact that you're a cartoon character.